Welcome to AuditGen, your audit solution for Genesys platforms. AuditGen provides various technical as well as operational audit functions, and this tutorial will focus on AuditGen configuration audit trail capabilities. Keeping track of all changes made to your Genesys configuration is quite important for the support as well as day-to-day management activities of your platform. AuditGen provides the appropriate solution that compensates the lack of Genesys onboard tools for such audit trail functionality. In the following tutorial, we'll cover 5 different sample scenarios that will illustrate AuditGen's unique way of auditing, tracking, and displaying configuration changes. We'll start by doing the change in CME, which is Genesys configuration environment that I'm already logged in, and then seeing the result in AuditGen. The first scenario consists in changing a virtual agent group by altering the skill expression defining this group. So we'll change the skill expression of the customer service group from customer service greater or equal than 1 to customer service greater or equal than 8. Okay. This should typically reduce the number of member agents fulfilling this more restrictive condition. We'll also change the skill expression of the customer care group from customer care greater than 7 to customer care greater than 0. Apply, which should typically increase the number of member agents fulfilling this less restrictive condition. Note that within Genesys CME, it is almost impossible to see and follow up agent movements following these changes. So we have changed the definition of 2 agent groups, but we are simply not able to see the impacted agents nor track these skill expression changes. Now let's see the result in AuditGen. I'll start by logging into the web application. Let's have a quick glance first at the AuditGen web interface. The web interface is compatible with most common browsers and provides features that are familiar with desktop applications. The following are common features to all AuditGen reports. The slider controls at the top of the form are used here to allow you the configuration of a custom refresh interval, as well as control the number of displayed records. The search panel provides you with multiple search criteria based on pre-filled drop-down lists that allow you quicker browsing and more efficient search of your result set. You can, for instance, change the date from, date to of your report, choose the user or the type of operation you're interested in displaying. All table reports allow you to move column positions by simply dragging these into any position, changing the size of each column by dragging the edge, or changing the sorting order by simply clicking the header of each column. Note also that all available panels can be collapsed and expanded to leave you focus on the right area. Now to the configuration change journal. Each line of the configuration journal table corresponds to a change record displaying the main information of the change, like when the change has been done, what kind of operation, what object type, and who's done the change, as well as the object path in the configuration environment for easier finding of your object. This is nice. However, we're not just interested in seeing the high-level information about the change, but we're also interested in seeing the exact details as well as the context of the change. This can be done by simply clicking the View Details link, which opens up and expands a panel displaying the exact same types as you are used to in Genesys CME. We'll first look at the script tab where we can see the change highlighted in the custom color depicting the changes, and finding out about the previous value can be as easy as hovering over the field to see the previous value customer service greater than 1. Now remember, in CME there was no way of showing impacted agents. Well, AuditGen has got the answer to this limitation by showing an additional tab, which is the Members tab, that lists all agents that belong to this agent group, and in this case it will show you even the agents that have been excluded from the virtual agent group following the skill expression change. You can also choose to only display the impacted agents. Likewise, when we changed in the last example the customer care group, we changed it from 7 to greater than 0. We expect an additional few agents to be added to this agent group following this change, and we'll look at the members tab. Again, we'll see the agents highlighted in green because they've been added to this agent group. So that's as easy as it gets. In the second scenario, we'll perform one of the most frequent changes, consisting in altering agent skills, where we'll change skill levels, add a skill, and also delete a skill, and see how AuditGen copes with several simultaneous changes. So let's go ahead and delete a skill. We will be changing a number of skill levels just randomly, and we'll add a skill. Spanish, for instance, and give it a skill level of 6. So we've made a few skill changes to this agent. We did apply, and now to make it even more interesting, we'll change actually the permissions on this agent. So we'll delete an access group, add another access group, and change the access group of another one. So there we go. Here we have a few changes made simultaneously, and we'll see how AuditGen copes with this one. As you can see, two change records in our configuration change journal have been added. Each one of the records corresponds to a different change type. The first one is change, the second one is a permission change. So let's examine the first one, which is about the skill change. Again, we expand the panel. We expect to have the same tabs as in Genesys CME for this object. And we look at the agent info. Here's the list of skills and skill levels. Now we can scroll down to see the changes, or simply hit show changes only, and we'll see that 2 changes have been made, 1 skill has been added, and 1 skill has been deleted. Quite easy to hover over every field to see the previous value of the altered skill level. And we can see also that we have a total of 4 skill level changes and 2 skill changes, which makes a total change count of 6, which is quite useful to spot. Let's have a look at the second change, which is about changing permissions. We can see a change count of 3, so 3 changes in the details of the change. If we look at under the permission tab, we'll see quite nicely that 1 access group has been added with these permissions, another one has been deleted, and the 3rd access group has been altered, and we have granted the create and change permissions. You can see this is a pretty cool and very user-friendly display of the changes in the permissions of the objects within AuditGen. In our third scenario, we'll change some application configuration elements in CME and then see the results within AuditGen. So we'll pick up one random application, WFM server, and we'll go to the options. And we're going to be changing a few options under different sections. So you'd be really interested in seeing how AuditGen copes with these simultaneous non-concurrent changes to one object. I will change the log as well. delete another option. So that's enough changes. And now we'll make it even more difficult by going into the security tab and mess about this application by changing the account under which it's running. So we're going to use the beginner account. This can be very destructive if it happens in production environment, and if this user happens not to have the appropriate rights to execute the application. We will go ahead and even add a few changes to the access groups. There we go. So we have done a few changes to the application object, and we'll see how AuditGen is calculating these changes. For our third example, we can easily spot three types of changes for our last change. They're all about the same object, the WFM server. The first one was permission change, and then account change, and then the change of the options. Let's examine the permission change. We'll see quite nicely the changes that have been made, which are displayed in a quite self-explanatory manner. The next change was about changing the account under which the application was running, and you can see that the application is now running under the demo account. We can easily hover again over this field to see that the previous value was system, so it used to be running under the system account. And the last change is about the options of the application, and you can browse these various options to see the context, which is quite important before just looking at the changes. And assuming we're having loads of sections, so it's quite easy by clicking this checkbox, show changes only, to display the sections that have been altered. And obviously you can quite easily see that the same principle applies. You just hover over the field to see the previous values in any of the sections, and here is actually one option has been deleted, and it shows up in the deletion color, which is again quite nicely and easily made to spot. In our fourth scenario, we'll see how AuditGen can track changes done and performed using IRD. This is the Interaction Routing Designer, and I have a number of strategies loaded. So I'll randomly release a strategy and also mess up with another strategy by loading randomly again any other strategy, and see how AuditGen copes with this change, knowing that these type of changes are typically quite frequent when users simply load the wrong strategy by mistake. So here we are in our fourth scenario, looking at how AuditGen can track changes made by IRD. The first scenario was about releasing a strategy, and you can see that these options have been deleted following the release of the strategy. In the other scenario, where we have released and then uploaded another strategy, you can see under the Annex tab that the strategy name has been changed and is displayed with the color of updates and changes, and hovering over the field simply shows us the name of the previous strategy that has been released. Since the user hasn't changed, it hasn't been altered, it was loaded previously by the default account, and we can see that the loaded date has also been changed, so we can quite nicely track who has done the change, when, and what was the previous value. In our fifth and last scenario, we'll be performing a change using SCI, the Solution Control Interface Genesys tool, to make a change. So we're going to pick up an alarm condition and change this alarm condition by altering the clearance timeout to 1 hour and changing the category to critical, and then removing any clearance scripts, and then finally applying. So let's see how AuditGen tracks this change. Now let's have a look at the changes that have been made in our fifth and last scenario, which was done through the Genesys SCI tool and was about changing an alarm condition. And when we hit the view detail link, we can see that the category has been indeed changed from major to critical, the previous value appearing in the tooltip of the field, and the cancel timeout has been increased to 1 hour. We did also clear a script, and we can see this under the clearance script tab that an alarm reaction has been deleted, and this shows you how AuditGen is capable of tracking any changes done by any config server client. As you did see, AuditGen didn't miss any of the changes done by any of your configuration clients, including agent or supervisor desktop, and of course any of the Genesys administration tools. Now let's examine some of the common features to all of our changes. Every change record displays 2 additional tabs in its details: the Audit Trail tab, allowing you to see at a glance the change history for the selected object without having to navigate away, which basically shows you at a glance the time and the date change was made, what type of change, and who's done the change. There's also a Note tab, including a fully featured text editor, allowing you to add links, tables, and copy and paste documents if you wish to do so. You can also easily tag a record to follow up by simply selecting the important checkbox. Once you collapse the panel, you can easily spot records with attached notes and reported flags. You would also have noted that every change record displays the number of the simultaneous changes done for optimal recognition of the nature of the change without looking at the details. Now wait, that's not all. Since AuditGen is about improving your efficiency, we do understand that sometimes you don't have enough time to document every single change. So AuditGen is providing you with a feature that allows you to easily categorize all your changes. First, you'll have to select change records, any number of records. Then select the category from the drop-down list. For instance, planned configuration changes, and simply hit assign. You can then use the category filter in the search panel to identify and highlight, for instance, all the planned configuration changes or unplanned configuration changes. These categories can be customized under the administration area. Now that we have looked at the details of the changes, we'll have a quick look at the historical audit trail report. This report allows you to see the number of configuration changes performed on your Genesys platform. You can apply any of the available and pre-filled filter criteria, like start and end dates, username, object type, category, and you can also aggregate your report with one click, again without moving away from your current page. So you can, for instance, find out about the concurrent changes by second, hit search, and you automatically get the aggregated report. There's of course a nicer way of analyzing trends, other than looking at numbers in a table format. Here's how AuditGen allows you to see easily the evolution of all your configuration change activity over a period of time. You simply select your own filter criteria and generate your chart. AuditGen charts come with some user-friendly features like show and hide a series by clicking the name of the series, And it also has some built-in zoom capabilities to focus on peak periods of your choice. Increase the zoom, and then I can reset the zoom for my selected period. The last point we'll cover in the frame of Audit Trail is the notification capabilities of AuditGen. We'll provide in the following a brief overview of AuditGen's intelligent notification system. AuditGen notification is based on a flexible paradigm combining rules that correspond to what to notify, channels that correspond to how to notify, and calendars that correspond to when to notify. We'll first have a look at the rules and focus on the configuration change rules, where users have the total flexibility to decide what changes to be notified about. Some people think that notifying every change is a good thing, but in reality this can turn into subscription to auto-spam. So AuditGen provides users with the capabilities to filter the object types as they are interested in following up, and build a custom list of objects to be notified about. In this case, we have chosen to create a notification rule to track all changes for all applications only. This sounds good, but AuditGen goes beyond that and provides users with the possibility to choose to be notified when the number of changes per selected time interval exceeds the custom threshold. In this case, the rule will be triggered only when the number of changes every 30 seconds would exceed one change. This means that users can select to be notified according to the change frequency that suits their needs. Note also that every created rule, so any of the rules available in this list, can be shared among users, so you don't have to waste time configuring your own rule. If there is already one that suits you, you can of course create your own rule and change any of its details. Now let's have a look at the notification channels, in other words, how to be notified. AuditGen provides two different notification channel types: user notifications and system notifications. Looking at user notifications, every channel describes how you like to be notified, by email or by SMS, and provides you with the possibility to configure the subject that you'll receive. This gives you the needed flexibility, as it's more useful than a hard-coded static email subject. Moving on to system notifications, these two provide users or administrators with the capability to raise alarms back into Genesys SCI using custom alarm codes, which is a pretty unique feature of AuditGen. You can also configure notifications to be sent through SNMP and provide your own alarm text. Now we'll have a look at the notification calendars that define when a notification is raised. Here again, some unique features of AuditGen that provide you with all the required flexibility to define the days you want to be notified. Likewise, you get to configure the exception days where you do not want to be notified. In this case, you see that I'm quite eager to receive even notifications on a Sunday, whereas Andrew has chosen not to be notified on a Sunday. Everyone who receives alarms on a regular basis knows how to appreciate such feature, allowing you to avoid excessive notification according to your own specific needs. Very much like notification rules, the notification calendars can be created and shared among users. The last part is, of course, where users get to combine the what, the how, and the when of the configured notifications. You can think of this part as the glue between the rules, the channels, and the calendars, letting users select and combine these three notification elements according to their own specific requirements. Here's how a sample email notification would look like. And here's a sample of how an AuditGen notification gets raised within Genesys SCI. This concludes this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed discovering AuditGen and its value-added Audit Trail capabilities, and we'll be covering other parts of AuditGen's features in separate tutorials. Thank you for watching, and if you need additional details, please feel free to contact our support team under support@auditgen.com.